Let's check today's top stories now. And the search for an Australian man who fell off a cruise ship in the Pacific Ocean will resume tomorrow. The Quantum of the Seas is bound for Hawaii. Passengers were alerted to the drama over the ship's loudspeakers.
We kindly ask to return to your stateroom and account for everybody that should be in your room. Should you be missing anybody, please call 911.
The man disappeared following a separate fatal medical episode on board. There have been reports the two tragedies may be linked. And Uber has revealed all the items left behind in their rideshare vehicles in the last year. Along with the usual phones and wallets, there was a Harry Styles concert ticket, a taxidermy cat, a tray of lasagna, and even an Olympic gold medal.
Oh.
They also found false teeth, adult toys, a wedding dress, and even a cattle whip.
The weirdest thing I've ever found in a taxi has probably been a few vapes, a pair of undies, and they didn't smell too good.
So the weirdest thing I ever found was a used condom. It was absolutely disgusting.
No, just like empty bottles and cans on the ground.
I think I found a wallet once.
Kilograms of marijuana.
A open condom wrapper.
It could fall out of their bag or out of their pockets or, just absent-minded.
Oh, I've left my dignity in a few, that's for sure. But actually, I left my Olympic gold medal in one as well, so that could be mine potentially.
Yeah, on the same night that I was supposed to bring a lasagna over to celebrate.
That's true.
There it is.
That's true. I have lost a lot of stuff in Ubers, and often it's a cash payment that gets it back to me. Like I've left...
Sorry, who are you paying
the Uber driver.
Oh, right.
They will bring it back for cash.
So they're basically holding your stuff hostage?
Yeah, I left a laptop with, like, my journaling, my diary on there, and I would pay so much money for people not to read my private... Being like, I had a good day today. So I paid $100 to get that back.
Sam, no one cares.
Thank you, Susie. Still, I'm $100 poorer.
A damning Anglicare report has found that renting in Australia has never been less affordable. Average rents have risen by 11% in the last year as the nation struggles with rising inflation. The report found that people, including single parents who rely on welfare support, are the hardest hit by the rental crisis.
Where we've really seen a drop this year is for someone on a minimum wage. So the rental crisis is actually climbing the income ladder.
Angela Finch is a single mum of three struggling to make rent, and she joins us now. Angela, how hard are things for you and your family right now?
The hardest it's been since July 2020, actually. That's when I became a single mother, and it's never been harder than right now. Extremely hard.
What's difficult about it? Give us a sense of what life's like for you.
It's the choice of rent or other bills. It's a choice of rent or rent. It's just one thing. Like when you're cutting essentials like medication and food, there's not much more to cut. And in the rental market that we're in, I can't afford where I live, but I can't afford to move either.
I mean, it's a horrible catch-22, and you've got little ones as well. I mean, I know it must be really hard for you, but how are the kids coping with this?
Not great. So I've got a 14-year-old, a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old you can protect. It's fairly easy to protect her. The 10-year-old and the 14-year-old, they're human beings. They're children. They're not stupid. They don't live outside of it. They can see what other families and what other kids, their peers are doing and can do, and how they get to participate in their community and how we don't. When your 10-year-old's regulating food or goes to get an apple and then looks at the bowl and puts it back because she knows she needs one for lunch in her lunchbox tomorrow, it's beyond heartbreaking. When your 14-year-old just stops interacting with the world. The normal teenage problems, I don't have those with my teenager because it's not affordable for her to have a teenage meltdown. We can't. They live in this, and it's the little stuff of meeting up with friends down at the park or having friends over for play dates just isn't there, and they know it, and they've stopped asking.
What kind of rental prices are you seeing on the market at the moment?
$600 for a house, for something for me in a 3-bedroom where my kids will share, which it's fine. I shared a bedroom. It's $600 a week, And when your payment isn't covering your rent, like I lose this house, I have nowhere to go. I don't know what happens next. Like I actually can't think about it too much. I just have to pay the rent and then whatever else I can afford. So all the other budgets that you might have actually depends on paying the rent and if my kid needs medication and then how much do I have to pay on my electricity bill that week, and then the rest goes on food. There's no wiggle room. I used to be able to save for their birthdays and Christmas, and now I can't and don't, and it's just becoming smaller and smaller, our world, and more terrifying each day. Like I actually can't sit and think about too much a plan B. Always been a planner. I love a list. I like to organise my life and have it sorted, but this is it's too much. It's actually impacting on all of our mental health and mine particularly, but I just go on hiding it and doing the best I can because there's no one else.
It's just you doing this on your own. You've got 3 kids. How are you surviving, Angela?
We're not. Like, we're actually not surviving. We're treading water. I literally paid the rent today, paid the money off my agreement with our electricity, and went and spent the rest I could in groceries. And that's it. And that's it. It's not survival. It's not, we're barely existing. And I don't, like, the next thing is my kids don't have food. I've already cut lots out. So what happens to my children? Like, where do they go? What happens? I don't have a car. We can't afford a car, so I can't even go and pretend and live in our car. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
Angela, you've been incredibly eloquent tonight. Thanks so much for sparing some time for us, and all the best.
Thank you.
All right, time for more of today's top stories. And the federal government plans to radically overhaul Australia's migration system after a major review found it isn't fit for purpose in its current format. The changes will include a new 3-tiered assessment system for skilled workers and an increase to second-tier income. Reforms will be designed to cut red tape and reduce delays to permanent residency. And Vegemite has issued a national casting call for kids aged between 6 and 12. It's remaking the classic Happy Little Vegemite ad to celebrate 100 years of the much-loved spread.
We all adore Vegemite. It puts a rose in every tree.
Trish Kavanagh was just 7 when she starred as the baton twirler in the original 1959 commercial. She says it was a wonderful experience.
The kids at school, are you really in that ad? Is that really you? Like, everything was so new in those days for television, so it was such an exciting time.
She says she still gets recognised all these years later.
She keeps twirling that baton.
She still gets recognised.
She gets recognised, and she eats Vegemite every single day.
Wow. I love Vegemite personally, but I do have an issue with this story because they're saying no experience necessary. Kids of the world again taking jobs from hardworking actors. I'm just over it.
Well, the pay's a little low. It's filming in Melbourne, but they've said that they will cover travel costs.
How's your baton twirling? Could you...
I would learn how from a registered professional baton twirling teacher, and no, it's fine.
I'm holding out for the Milky Bar Kid. I wouldn't hate to be the Milky Bar Kid.
The remake of the Milky Bar Kid.
Well, do you know who the original Milky Bar Kid is?
That lady?
Hamish McDonald.
Got him. He's not here to defend himself.
Katy Perry has had a huge legal win over singer Katy Perry. The federal court has ruled one of the pop star's companies infringed on designer Katy's trademark. The judge found pop star Kerry had infringed the trademark on Twitter ahead of the 2014 Prism Tour in Australia. Her company, Kitty Purry, will be liable for damages. And West Coast star Nick Naitanui has revealed he's loving fatherhood. He and his fiancée Brittany welcomed their first child, baby Ezekiel, back in October. But in an interview with the Eagles Coast to Coast podcast, Nick conceded he's had some nappy dramas, which he's resolved in quite the questionable way.
Bit of shower time instead of changing nappies?
Oh, yeah. If nappies get too hard. No, nappies get too hard. I just do it the old Fijian style. Just stomp it down the drain, chuck him in the shower with me. Shower with your foot? Shower waffles, mate. Just put it down the drain and push it down there.
I think Fijian culture is amazing.
Unbelievable.
That's incredible.
Like, you do all sorts of weird stuff when you have a kid, right?
Yeah, but
and you're exposed to all sorts of strange bodily fluids and things, but I've never done that.
Well, but why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
I've
it's
done
so
it.
efficient.
I've done it, and now I can't go back to that gym, but I but I've done it. No, it's not that bad, is it? Because it's still going down the hole.
It's all pipes.
Yeah, and it just goes into the pipe. You're done with it. Just get rid of it.
I don't think all pipes are, well, I hope they all go to the same place in a way and it's all treated, but you can't be sure.
No,
Yeah.
have a crack.
But haven't you ever been, like, hungover in the shower and you're like, oh, it's just 2 in 1?
It's great.
Okay, all right. Well,
Do you know what?
last time I am vulnerable.
Can I just say, we were on the same team until that moment.
And retailers of romance say COVID has caused an engagement gap. They say lockdown simply stopped true love finding a way, and this put a massive dent in sales of engagement rings. Relationships that were headed up the aisle withered, others never even blossomed. Australia's largest jeweller doesn't expect sales to hit pre-pandemic levels until 2026. So, Sammy, you've got a bit of time up your sleeve.
What for? Oh, to propose. Wow. Okay.
Maybe it's just ring sales, though. Maybe they're giving engagement other things, like, I don't know, engagement kayaks. I don't know. Maybe they're just not buying rings anymore.
Yeah, or old school, like 5 goats and like a loaf of bread. I don't know how people used to do it, but I feel like
goat sales have gone up. So
have they?
I think
Oh,
you might be onto
terrific.
something.
Yeah, terrific. Okay, well, yeah, I'm not. I haven't thought about proposing to my girlfriend, but maybe after this conversation.
Just a joke. Just a joke.
Okay, look, if you're watching, Jules, I like you, but maybe we're not there yet.
Don't worry. If she's been watching the show, she probably can wait.